Hello, my name is Robyn Norris. I am an actor, writer, and improviser based in Los Angeles, and I know everything about Bravo TV.
And I'm Carla Cackowski, and I'm an improviser and a writer, fun stuff. And I know nothing about Bravo TV.
Welcome to the Bravo Bubble, a podcast for people who live outside the bubble.
And for Bravoholics.
That's right. We tried to do that from memory and I messed it up. So that's the start of this
It's
podcast.
perfect. I love it.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well, let's dive in, Carla. It's so good to see you. Before we get into all things Bravo, any personal updates, anything on your mind? I know we were kind of chatting before, so.
Yeah, no, it's been a good week. I was like kind of mad for like 4 days straight. I think it's perimenopause, hormonal. That's fine. It's just where I'm at in my life. And then I woke up yesterday feeling amazing, and I was like, all right, so let's just ride the ups and downs. And here we are.
I love it. Well, I'm glad you're on up for today,
Yep, I'm on the
hopefully.
up for today. For today,
Great.
yes. How about
And
you?
I'm good. We were talking before the show. You've had a lot of shows,
Yep.
improv comedy shows recently, and I had
Yeah.
several in the last couple weeks, and now I
Yep.
don't for a couple weeks, and I can focus
Phew.
on other things, which is great. We love it all.
Yeah, it's always fun to actually do them. I guess it's
Hmm.
like anything. You're like, and it's not that I dread it, like I like it, but I'm like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, I have to do this thing. I have to perform, which is
Uh-huh.
silly because I don't have to
Yeah.
perform. I'm choosing to, but it's like, okay. And then you get there and you're like, this was amazing. I should do
Yeah.
this every night. But then it's over and you're back home and you're like, I'm glad I don't have a show tonight.
Yeah, it's like the highest of highs. And we, along with many of our friends, we spent years doing it every night of the week. So now we're in the phase of we only do it when we want to do it,
We're going
which
through
is still kind of a
perimenopause
lot.
with our improv careers as well.
With our improv careers. That's right. That's a good description of it.
It is.
So yeah. Well, I think we can chat at the end if we have any recommendations. I say let's drive in
Drive
and
in.
drive back
Yep.
and get in to Bravo.
Love it.
So, before we talk about your assignment, anything come up since our last recording, Bravo related that you noticed?
Oh gosh. I actually don't think there was. Oh, there was some stuff on Dumois. I think I sent you a
Hmm.
text of like
You did.
there was some goss about something that I didn't understand. Yeah. Yeah,
You
that's
sent
all
me
I
two
remember.
things. No, that's
Did I?
fine. I'm
Okay.
just like looking at our texts, but we have texts about other things. You sent me a picture of Nicola at
Nicola.
Sir
Yep, yep, yep. Oh yeah,
Nicola
at Sir. Yep.
with
Nicola
um
Coughlin was at Sir again, I think.
yes.
I think she's been there multiple times, and that popped up on, I don't know, somewhere on Instagram.
Yeah, no, she was there with, and now I'm blanking on the name of the other owner who we saw in person, but it's a
Oh yeah,
picture with
yeah,
him.
yeah.
And you just sent me, fuck, because
I
I
know. I
don't
was
know.
like, dang, I wish we would have been there that night.
I mean, what are the odds? Maybe someday. Well, we're just gonna have to keep going. We're gonna have to keep going.
Right.
And then you also did send me a Dumas, and I can't find it right now, but it was something like something's going to rock the Bravo universe
Yeah,
and change Housewives forever, which all the time happens.
of course.
And then it never happens.
It's
So,
great though, because I feel, even though I still have no idea who the people are for the most part, I'm like,
right.
oh, this must be a big deal. And I feel like I'm in on the gossip train.
Exactly. Well, you are, and you're going to be more and more so. I'm so excited. I'm curious where you'll land in even a couple months from now when you actually
Yeah.
start to know more things because my quizzes have become different. I'm adapting based on what you
Yeah.
know
That's the
now. So
best part, right?
it's interesting for me. I was like, okay, maybe I'll try this week. So, your last
Yes.
assignment
Yes.
was twofold. We're going to do a music video every week, and
Yes.
we are doing
Hmm.
an episode. So, your music video was I Can't Wait to Grow Up by Milania Guidice or Giudice, depending on how you pronounce it. Did you watch this video?
I did twice.
Twice. Okay, I watched it
Hmm.
twice too. What are your thoughts?
I loved it. I thought it was very cute. I thought it was the best video that we've watched so far. I think we've only watched three or four.
Yes.
But it was just really cute. And also she's a kid, or she was. I don't know
Hmm.
when this was done.
Uh-huh.
But there were some really exciting things. First of all, in the intro to the music, there's like this mini scene where is her mom on the show? Is that the idea?
Yes. Her mom is one of the most famous housewives. You haven't
Really?
watched this franchise yet, so we'll get you there. Yeah.
What's
Her
her
mom
name?
is Teresa. Teresa, you will start hearing Teresa versus Melissa or Teresa. She's
Which
huge.
franchise?
Guess. Why don't you guess?
One that we haven't watched? Oh, I have no
Yeah.
idea. I've already forgotten all of them. Dallas? Is Dallas one? No, that
Dallas
wouldn't be
is
right.
one.
That's
Mm-mm.
not. No, she didn't. Why did I say Dallas? She did not seem like she lived in
Uh-uh.
Dallas. She seemed like New Jersey or something.
Yep. Ding, ding, ding. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the game, which is called Mall Madness, I
Yep.
was like, I've played that game, but it
Uh-huh.
looked different. And then I did a whole, this is why I get excited, is because of the vintage housewares
Uh-huh.
and stuff.
Yes.
But I did. That was a game in the late 80s, and I'd never owned it, but I loved it. My friends had it, and I used to play it all the time. And then I looked it up, and the one that they use in the video is from 2004. Is it that old,
Okay.
the song?
No, the song is more recent. I
Okay.
honestly was surprised to see Mall Madness as well because I was like, I remember that from when I was a kid.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that I think they just were like, we're gonna set it in the mall, so let's get this
So
game.
let's get Mall Madness.
Yeah,
It's so
so
funny.
funny.
But I was excited to see the updated version, which is now also considered vintage because it came out in 2004, and that's over 20 years ago. So that was
Hmm.
exciting. And then I loved I love the part of the video where it's like, okay, we're being like Star Trekked, up into the air into the mall. But they're all
Yes.
wearing PJs, and then they get like their makeover at the mall.
Hmm.
And the makeover is just flannels.
Yeah. I feel like somebody like kind of pats them, almost like they're a fairy
Yes,
godmother tapping them,
exactly. And
and
then they
then
go
they're
from
all
their
in
PJs to
flannel.
flannel. And I was like, this is so odd, but I love it. Like it's a detail that I was not expecting. I was expecting like, sparkly dresses or some mini dresses or
Right.
something. But it was
Yeah.
very funny and I laughed a lot. And it was like cute. It was very cute. It's not, it's not great. Like it's not,
Mm-mm.
but it's like campy in a way that I can get
I
behind,
Okay, great. And you know what you just
you
said,
know?
campy in a way that I can get behind is one of the reasons I love The Housewives. And I think that's
Yes.
why people love it because it's also to me, it's funny. Like
Yeah.
it's not quote unquote good. And yet, and there's also a kind of a rule that you don't go in after the children on the shows.
Mm,
So you will see in some of the franchises, don't you dare mention my children. That's off limits. And so
yeah.
you already kind of knew that rule, Carla, because you said,
Yeah.
it's a kid.
Well,
We're not going to make
it's a
fun
kid.
of
Yeah.
the
But
talent
on top
level.
of that, I really liked her. I thought she was super
Oh,
funny.
yeah,
And I liked that her and her friends. So what I wrote down was this could be Beverly Hills or this could be Ohio. I felt
hilarious.
they were very normal looking, all of them. And I mean this
Yes.
as a compliment. It
Yeah.
felt very accessible and normal and relatable and not like Disney kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why people like the Jersey franchise. It's a very like it's more family centered and
Okay.
it's yeah, whole family rather than just the women. Any other thought? I have a couple things I want to bring up about it. Do you have anything else?
The only other thing that I wrote down was that as soon I thought this was so funny to me. Now you're not gonna laugh because I said it's funny. But as soon as the video ended, what is it called again?
I
The
can't
name of
wait
the
to grow
song?
up.
I can't wait to grow up. You know how like YouTube shows you have up next? And so here's my algorithm. It said up next, Leonard Cohen.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah.
Like, this is gonna screw up my algorithm.
You are gonna have
With
some
all
stuff
of these
popping up.
Housewives thing. It was
Oh, that's
so
so
funny. I was like, that couldn't be more opposite of what I
wow.
just watched.
That's ridiculous. That's a bad algorithm right there.
Yeah.
We'll
No,
see
I mean,
where
I love Leonard Cohen. That's what I mean. Like
absolutely.
I watch way too many
It's just
Leonard
a
Cohen
totally different. Yeah.
videos. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
funny. Well, I love this video as well. I think it's one of my favorites. So I was so happy when you chose it because you don't
Yeah.
know based off
So
the song
cute.
titles what you're gonna get. And I do think Melania is adorable. She's really funny on the show. She's just like a funny
Oh,
kid.
good.
There were a couple things that stood out to me in this video. One, when they're playing they're playing Mall Madness, one of the kids, and again, I'm not going to comment on the acting of
Yeah.
the child. It felt like it could be a horror movie for just a minute. Like she reaches for the glowing orb, and her friend's like, Melania, don't touch it. And
Yes,
then she
yes,
touches it, and
yes.
then it's magic, which made me laugh. And then my favorite line is just because she kind of rap sings, and she's like,
Yes.
I'm about to pick up my besties, Tay Tay and Stephanie. And that
Yes,
made me
yes. I
laugh.
love that.
And at that moment, Atul, my husband, he was in the other room in his office, and his head just popped out, and the face he made, he was like, what?
He's
It
like,
was so
what is
funny to me.
happening?
I
That's so
also
great.
appreciate that there was no attempt to rhyme. The lyric,
Yeah.
so here's an example. I can't wait to grow up. I'm only getting older. I'm gonna travel so much. And I'm thinking, okay, what's gonna rhyme with older? Like Mulder and Scully, or I
Yes.
folder, grab my school folder. No, no, no. The next line is, I don't care. So what? It doesn't rhyme at all. But she doesn't care. So what? Who
Oh,
cares if you
so
rhyme?
good.
We don't need it. And when you said at the end of the video that Leonard Cohen thing, I thought you were going to say, because I noticed it goes brought to you by Destiny USA. And I was like, what's
Oh,
Destiny USA? So I looked it up. It's a shopping complex, Syracuse, New Jersey. And on the
amazing.
website, it says, let's get real, REEL, because they want you to rent out their space and film
I love
things.
it. I love it.
So
It's so
there was
good.
a film shot there called Plain Clothes. And then, of course, Melania's video is probably the biggest thing. So,
That's hilarious. Yes, very enjoyable. All the thumbs up. Great.
yes. So, before we move into the meat of the actual assignment, we need to figure out what music video you're going to watch for next episode.
Okay.
So, here are your choices based on titles. Okay.
Hmm.
Tardy for the Party, Money Can't Buy You Class, On Display,
Mhm.
Waking Up in the Morning, Expensive, XXPN, dollar sign SIBE, Faya, FYAH, Good as Gold, How Many Bucks, Touch in Public, Gone with the Wind, Fabulous, or Feeling You.
Um, was there one about something about waking up in the morning?
Yes. Waking
That's
up
the
in the
one.
morning.
Yeah.
This is amazing that you chose that. Okay. Because you do not know why I think that's amazing or how it might be
I don't. I have
connected
no
in any
idea.
way. That's hilarious. You're definitely on a trend here, and I'm
Okay.
loving it. Okay.
Okay.
So your assignment this time, we've been itching to get you into the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. By the time our
Yes.
viewers and listeners are watching and listening, the current season has ended. It's fantastic. They just ended season 5. I need to get you started. So I chose, based off your answers last week, season 2, episode 10, Highway to Vale. So before we dive in, just a quick recap for our listeners. This is the episode that picks up right after they're on the Sprinter van outside Beauty Lab and Laser. They're about to go to Vale, and then all of a sudden the feds show up, and Jen Shaw gets a phone call, and you didn't get to see the full part of this, Carla. Her
Mm-mm.
face shows something's wrong. Then she says her husband, Sharif, is in the hospital, and she leaves. So the whole episode is the ladies going to Vale. They're in the Sprinter van. They're picking up the pieces, figuring out what's happening with this arrest, possibly arrest. All the while, Meredith Marks is already there in the bathtub, and Mary Cosby is making her way
In the
separately. So,
bathtub.
yes. So in the van, you've got Heather, you've got Whitney, you've got Jenny, and you've got Lisa Barlow. So that's basically the episode in a nutshell. So, Carla, your first
Yes.
time watching this franchise, right? You've seen
Hmm.
New York. You've seen, what have you seen? You've seen New
I
York,
don't know.
you've seen Beverly Hills. You don't know. And so we're just diving into the classics. This is Salt Lake
Haven't I
City.
seen more than that? Have I
You
only seen?
have.
I
You
forgot. I
have.
forgot.
Well,
I
we did a
totally forgot.
Vanderpump
Oh
and
yeah,
we
Vanderpump.
did two Vanderpumps. So you've seen a couple of the cities, though, a couple of the big
Yes.
ones. So
Yes.
now we're going into Salt Lake City, which is a little bit of a different
Yes.
one. So thoughts about this cast, this city?
Okay. Here's my emotional journey with what we've been doing so far. Carla
Great.
gets real. It's been fun because it's a new thing
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy hanging out with you and it's fun
Mm-hmm.
to talk about and I like knowing about things. But
Uh-huh.
I have not at all been like, this is something that I mean, Vanderpump a little bit. I was maybe more interested in Vanderpump, but only because I
Mm-hmm.
know it's coming on that one. But this has
Right.
never been something like, I want to watch this. Like,
Right.
in my free time, this would be fun for me.
Uh-huh.
But staying positive because, like, this is what we're doing
Sure. Yeah.
and I enjoy it, whatever. Okay, here's my point. Is this was really fun. And this is a show where I was like, I would watch this. This is great. I really
Oh,
liked the
good.
cast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
kind
We're
of right
getting
away.
there.
So actually,
Okay.
initially right away, like the first 2 minutes, I was totally confused because it's right in the middle of the chaos of the
Mm-hmm.
arrest, I guess, or post the arrest.
Yes.
Um, but once they all started talking in the van, I was like, this is hilarious. And I
Yes.
actually, even though I didn't, even though there are characters that I can tell are complicated women that
Uh-huh.
maybe somebody not as evolved as myself would say
Uh-huh.
are, unlikable women. I felt
Sure.
like I felt like I was interested in all of them. Like they weren't so
Awesome.
unlikable that I wasn't interested. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. Yes. Okay. And I'm so glad you brought this up because I was thinking as we go on this journey, and you're right, this is only your third Housewives because we did the
Mhm.
first episode where we just quizzed you. And then we did New York, we did Beverly Hills, and then we did two Vanderpumps. So this is only your third housewife. And I was even thinking as I'm adapting the quizzes, okay, once we get through like one episode from each franchise,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to assess where I went wrong and where I went right in terms of if you weren't if you weren't like super into New York, oh, I got to choose a different episode, right? So I feel
Right,
like
right.
this one did the trick. And
Yes, this was great. I really enjoyed it, top to bottom. Even watched a little bit of the following episode, only because it was a cliffhanger and I needed to know what
it's
was going on.
hard not to. Okay.
Yeah,
And I kind of had a feeling you would love these ladies. So
yeah.
they're just so funny. So specific moments that made you laugh, gasp, groan.
I was laughing pretty much right away when they were going through, is it Jen who got arrested? I'm sorry, there's so many
Yes,
names.
Jen Shaw.
Okay, Jen, when they were going through her food and snack bag, made me laugh so hard. And somebody said, wait until the body is cold.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Heather. I
That
think
was
Heather said
Heather.
that.
Yes.
And that made me laugh really hard. And then like 90 seconds later, she was in because there was a lollipop that she wanted. And that was just very funny to me. And what else I laugh at? This is a good thing, even though it's bad for podcasting, which is I got so into it that I forgot to take notes like I normally do.
Great.
Um,
That's fine.
I don't have the text, so I don't know what's going on. Made me laugh. Oh, that was Jenny, I think. I thought Jenny was fascinating.
Okay.
She was like very removed from the group the whole
Uh-huh.
time. I don't know if that's indicative of her overall character arc, but she was kind of like judging everyone in the situation constantly. And I just found that very interesting. I know she's probably not because I'd never heard her name. I'd heard of Lisa Barlow before,
Okay.
and I've heard of Mary before. So I figured Jenny probably isn't like a standout star from this franchise, but I was like fascinated just because she seemed like she was in constant judgment.
Ah, she
Made me laugh.
was. It was
Yeah.
funny. The other women were like crying, freaking
Yes.
out, calling their lawyers, like all this stuff. And she's just sitting there like, well, if we don't know, we don't know. I think we should
Yeah.
still go. Like they were like, we should
Yes.
stay. And she's like, no, let's go to Vale.
Yes.
Okay.
She's like above it all, and I kind of love and respected that about her. But she wasn't like dramatic or flashy enough to be like a main character, I could tell.
I think you have good instincts.
Yes, I think I
Yes.
do too.
Yes. She was added
Yeah.
that this is season 2, so she was new this season.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't write down more laughs. I laughed a
oh, that's
lot though.
okay.
I
That's
laughed a lot.
okay.
Yeah,
I I have a couple. I do think Meredith was in the bathtub for such a long time. I was like,
such a
this is
long time.
absurd. And it
Yeah.
it kind of becomes her thing. This is, I feel like maybe the start of it. Then she gets really
Okay.
into like baths are my thing. And now whenever they go on a trip, she has to have the room with the bath. But it was like she's in the bathtub of Heather's room. I'm like, I would be so grossed out if I was
Yeah.
Heather. I'd be like, stop. But I'm a
Yeah.
germaphobe. But I think that was so ridiculous. And like Mary makes me laugh so hard in this episode because she's just like, she doesn't know what to do with her body when Meredith's in the bathtub.
No.
She's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
okay. Like, so funny.
Is
I
it weird
also,
that if that was my friend, it wouldn't bother me? Like when
no,
they
it's
cut
not
to the
weird.
confessional or whatever the interviews, and Mary was like, I forget what she said. It was funny. Something like when I invite people over, there's food on the table and
Yes.
whatever. But I was like, oh, I wouldn't care if my friend was in the bathtub.
You're very laid back like that. And I think you'll see on these franchises, a lot of the places are like, why wasn't someone there to greet me? Or we didn't get greeted in the right way. Everyone has their opinions.
Got it.
Yes. And if it's a good friend, I I personally wouldn't care either. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be in the bathtub when friends came.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet I wouldn't care if we were taking a trip and you were like, that's fine. I don't know that they're like besties in that way though. So it's a little
Got it.
like interesting that she's just like, and because the other people were so freaking out and she's just like, whatever, I'm being proven right. Like she was just in her own, it's like she had a spa
Yes.
day. I was also
She's a
shocked.
know-it-all. Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. I was shocked by Heather being so in denial in the van. This is, I know the whole story and everything,
Hmm.
and I hadn't watched this episode since it aired. And she was just like, "Wait, do you think there's
Yeah.
something wrong? Do you think she's going to jail?" She was so, and everyone else was like,
Confused.
"Yes, yeah." So I thought that was just interesting.
Yeah. I love how
Um,
everybody was like, I had a feeling. I had
yeah,
a feeling. And
yes.
then what's her face? Meredith is like, I have a story.
I know. Oh my gosh, Meredith was she had a lot going on this episode.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you didn't write down any quotes, and that's okay.
I didn't. I'm so
No, it's
sorry. I
fine.
feel like I really blew it.
You didn't blow it. You were into it. This is my
I
dream. This
was.
is what I want. One of the quotes I wrote down that made me laugh was Lisa. I think Lisa's really funny. And she was just
Yeah,
like,
she's funny.
being red flagged at Louis Vuitton would be far worse than the feds knocking down my
Yes.
door, which made me laugh really hard.
So
Because
good.
she's so serious. She's like, I mean, seriously.
Yes. And I love that Jen was flagged for paying cash.
Right.
I was like, oh, I didn't realize because I'm not rich. So I didn't realize that when you go
Yeah.
someplace that rich people go to, it's weird to pay cash,
Well, it is
right?
and it isn't. Yeah. Well, you'll see it in one of the franchises, one of the very first episodes, somebody pays with a ton of cash, and that person is also later arrested.
That's what I
So
mean. Like,
it's
I
a
guess rich
little bit of
people
a,
know that that's a red flag. And I just be like,
yeah.
thank you, rich person, for bringing cash so we don't have
Uh-huh.
to divvy up all the checks or
Right?
whatever if we're at a restaurant. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's wild. So who did you like and who did you dislike? Like, who's
I
your
did
favorite?
this
Who's your
very
least?
weird thing, Robin,
Huh?
which feel free to judge me. You won't because you're into it too, but I guess I'm talking to the listeners right now. They can
Sure.
judge me. But I had just been studying some astrology this morning. And so I
Okay.
went through and gave
Great.
each of them a sign. And then I looked up there, and not all of them had their big threes available. I could only find sun signs, and none of them were correct. However,
Uh,
if you know astrology, you know that it doesn't mean anything. I probably need
uh-huh.
their moon signs to see if it lined up, in my opinion.
That's hilarious.
Their emotional state. Okay, so Lisa immediately, I was like, Gemini, Gemini,
And
Gemini.
that's
Like
you,
she,
right? Aren't you a
I'm
Gemini?
I'm a I'm a Gemini sun, yes.
Okay.
And but just because she was so chatty and just like so kind of gossipy and, very communicative, like I always know how she felt about everything. I thought that was very funny. She's not. She's a Sagittarius, which I thought was interesting. Sagittarians are great. I really like Sagittarians. You're a double Aquarius, right?
Yep.
What's your moon again?
So yeah, my moon is Sagittarius.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, then Jenny, I was like total Virgo. I'm a Virgo moon, very judgy,
Mm,
very like taking stock of the situation, like sitting back and kind of like looking everybody over and trying to figure out what's what. And then for Meredith, I had Scorpio. She seemed a little shady. I wasn't totally sure of what was going on behind the eyes,
hmm.
that kind of thing. Mary, I thought Cancer at first because she was so emotional at first. But then I thought Aries because she, like, her emotions were all over the place. And then I looked it up and her sun sign is Aries. So I thought that was
Ooh,
interesting.
nice.
And then Whitney, I thought Capricorn because she was like so listy, like making lists and like, well, this is what happens when like she knew all about marketing and like all of this like very
Hmm.
type A things. But then as the episode went on, I felt like she was way too, she wasn't like an like level-headed enough to be a Capricorn. And then Heather, I was like, that was the one that I would be friends with in real life, I thought. And she seemed like
Yep.
a Taurus to me. And I'm also a Taurus. I'm a Taurus rising. She's
Okay.
like she seemed loyal and like considerate and laid back, earthy compared to the others.
Great.
That's
I
my
had a
reading based on one episode of the cast of this show.
love it. Okay, fabulous. I had a feeling you would connect with Heather.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really? Do people
Yeah.
like her a lot usually? Or no?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
She was kind of the breakout star in the first
Oh.
season. So,
Do you
yeah,
like her?
I do. I do.
Oh,
I think
okay.
she's
Okay,
very
good.
funny. Yeah.
Okay.
As a writer, who would you want to follow for future seasons or storylines?
Honestly, I thought they were all fascinating. Mary definitely, I hate to say she seemed like the villain, but just like towards the end, it seemed like the most people were unhappy with her.
Hmm.
So maybe she's the antagonist of the series.
Hmm.
But Lisa seems like the star of the show
I could see that. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Yeah.
based on this episode.
I also wanted
Sh
to say, I
Yeah.
just love that she's like, I'm calling all my lawyers. We have six on retainer. I'm calling them all right now.
Yes.
Like her calling the lawyers and then covering her face, like people aren't going to
Yeah.
hear what she says on the mic. She's so funny to me. Oh,
Yes, yes. She's ridiculous. Really fun though. But she doesn't seem like a bad person in the way this is terrible. Some of the previous shows we've watched, I'm like, they're doing bad things and they kind of seem like a bad person.
but yeah, like
And
Ramona.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she
Yeah.
isn't like a great person, but she just kind of seems like an extrovert.
Uh-huh. Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I would like hanging out with her.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I love this. So I chose this episode because I asked you some questions last on our last episode, like which scenario would you like to see? And it was like people churning butter in bonnets or this, that. And you were like, I can't choose. They all sound great. So I was like, well, then let me give you like the highest drama episode there is.
Yeah.
And because also Mary Cosby's in it, and you had mentioned you'd heard about her. It's your first Sprinter van officially. You'll see a lot of
Oh,
Sprinter
right.
vans on the show. It's your first cast trip episode. That is a big
Yep.
thing on these shows where they always kind of go on these cast trips. They fight over what room they're getting. It's a whole thing. Drama ensues. So that's why I chose this episode. A couple other questions just to see where you're at. Who from this episode is no longer on the show? Any guesses?
Somebody we saw, so not
Hmm.
Jen. I'm assuming Jen's not on this episode, on
Jen's
this
not
show
on the
anymore.
show. She's in prison.
Maybe Jenny because she seemed like the least with yeah,
Yeah,
she had the
correct.
least going on, even though I found her fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, she's no longer on the show, and not really because of that. She had some old social media posts that people found, and so they were
Uh-oh.
questionable. So,
Dang. Okay.
yeah. Out of who you saw, who becomes a New York Times bestselling author?
Oh. I did not see that for any of them. But okay, so that's probably like a cooking book or something, right? Like maybe not. Okay.
I can't
I
say.
guess Lisa. Lisa seems, is it her?
It's not. I'm just excited that you're taking a guess.
Yeah,
I,
I guessed Lisa. Who is it?
yeah, these are just fun questions to see, your instincts. It is Heather Gay, and her book is
Oh.
called Bad Mormon.
Oh, she did mention some stuff about being Mormon,
A
like
lot of
growing
them
up
are.
Mormon.
Yes. So you're a big reader. I have not read this book yet. Apparently, it is very good. So you might like that book.
All right.
Yeah. The next question I had, I think you already answered. So a lot of times it's people really get into who's the center of the show. So like in the cast
Okay.
photo, so Salt Lake City,
Oh,
they hold snowflakes, right? So it's like who's the center snowflake? So I was going to ask you to guess. I think you already did, but go ahead and take a guess.
Lisa.
Right. So it's Heather.
It
And
is?
and this is yes, she was the
I mean, I like
breakout.
that it is,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm surprised.
And in fact, in this one, it goes Heather in the center, and then right behind her is Jen Shaw and Whitney, and then behind them is Meredith and Jenny, and then on the ends is Mary Cosby and Lisa Barlow, which I think is
Whoa.
a weird because those two are kind of breakout stars too. So it's an
Yeah.
interesting pairing.
I'm surprised. I don't think I've ever heard the name. What's her last name?
Heather Gay.
Heather Gay. I don't think I've ever heard her name, but I've heard of Lisa Barlow and I've heard of Mary Cosby. Crosby.
Hmm.
Which is it?
Cosby. Cosby.
Cosby. And I don't know why I've heard of them, but I've definitely somewhere on social media at some point heard of
Sure.
those two.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think the further you get into these franchises, you're going to hear Heather's name more if you
Okay.
continue in this one for sure. All right, a couple more just fun ones. Who out of this cast is a licensed lawyer?
Ooh, Meredith.
Yes, she's not a practicing lawyer, but she's licensed to be a lawyer.
She seems like she's the type of person who brings receipts to the table.
Yep, she
Yeah.
sure does. She's like, they came into my store and
Yeah.
then
And I have
uh
screenshots of the texts and yeah.
yes, exactly. Who out of these two of these people are actually cousins? Who are the
Oh,
cousins?
is it Heather and Whitney?
It is.
Do you know how I knew this?
No.
Because they were like at one point Heather was like laying her head on Whitney's lap or something, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, they must have a longer relationship, a more history than the others.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good friends. I don't know that they knew they were cousins until more recently. They do have a very
Oh,
tight relationship though, and they are cousins. Yeah.
yeah.
Who is a pastor out of this group?
Oh no. A pastor?
Hmm.
Whitney? No. Is it Heather?
No.
I don't know.
Mary Cosby.
Oh,
She
I didn't. I
ran,
should have known that because they were talking about her church.
yes, the Faith Temple Pentecostal Church.
Yes, I
Uh,
should have known that. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, last question. There's often product placement on these shows. It's a really big
Okay.
thing. I'm curious if you noticed it on this episode. Did you notice any product placement as you were watching this episode?
Well, there were so many snacks in the
Hmm.
van, but I didn't like pay much attention to specifically what it was. And then, nope, I don't know. No.
Yeah, no worries. So this one, and you'll hear this one a lot as it goes, is Vida Tequila, Vida Tequila. So in the van, they even had a couple shots of just an empty seat and a Vida Tequila bag. And
Uh,
then Lisa, it's Lisa's brand. And so she even talks about it. She'll talk about it every chance she gets. So she's like, oh, we don't need Whitney playing Detective Nancy Drew. She's like, Jen is not in the library with the lead list, but I do want to be in the lounge with a bottle of Vita. So she gets her product placement in there.
good for
So
her.
yeah, I thought that might be a fun thing to kind of start clocking in future episodes if you notice
Yeah.
the
Get
product
your
placement.
money, girl. That's great.
Yes. Okay. So now I've got to figure out what to assign you next for next week.
Okay.
And I have a couple of ideas. So these are
Okay.
just random questions, like
I know
just
this
answer
microphone.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you a would you rather out of these things, and then you
Okay.
tell me, would you rather party in the Hamptons,
Mhm.
meet an old Southern aristocrat for a charming dinner, meet a former carnival carny, or sail on a luxury yacht? Out of those
A
four.
100% the carnival carny.
Okay, great. Carnival carny.
100%.
And then, just for fun, fill in the blank of this sentence. Summer should be blank. Summer should be
Summer should be hot.
fabulous. I love it.
It should.
Great. The actual quote is summer should be fun.
Oh, of course. Of
It should
course.
be hot though. And then which type of drama would you prefer? Table flipping or a family van flip out?
Table flipping.
Okay, great. So these are great answers. I'm not still sure where I'm going to place you. I think I know where I need to start. I think I know what franchise though. So I will give
Great.
Carla's assignment after Carla signs off here. Before we go, anything else you want to talk about, Carla?
No, I feel good. Like I really enjoyed
Okay.
this one. Thank
Yeah, me
you.
too. Me too. Yeah, that's it. I was
It's
like,
okay
should
to
we
not
do?
enjoy all of them, right? Like sometimes
Oh,
it's
it's
more
totally.
just like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's totally okay, especially because you flying, you have no idea what's happening in any of, you
Yeah.
don't even know the people, you don't have connections to them, where I feel like I said, I feel like they're my friends and I know them.
Yes, yes. I
Okay,
can't imagine
great.
you being friends with any of these people, quite honestly, in real
Well,
life.
in real
I
life,
see what you're
probably
saying.
not.
Yes, yes, yes. They're your comfort. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're my comfort. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us on the Bravo Bubble. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, everyone. It's just Robyn here with Carla and your next assignment. Based on Carla definitely wanting to see something with a former carny, we have to go to Dallas. So I am choosing season 2, episode 6 of Real Housewives of Dallas. Don't cry over spilled tea. Watch the episode and we'll get Carla's thoughts next time.